All right, guys, we're back. UFC Noche Lopes versus Silva. I'm your host, Picked by Pegasus. Here with Dre VK3 Picks. Dix Insider wants to hear the song. Here's the new intro song that this guy made for us. How does that sound? Good or bad?
Awful.
Good, better, or worse? I think we do got some feats for the show today. Damn, they're talking about your voice, kid. The silky. That's
the silky reference is crazy.
Yeah, shout out Poofo on the beat, bro. We appreciate that. Yeah. So, Noche Contender Series, probably the ugliest card we've seen. There you go, Dixon Cider. That's the show for you. We're here. Yeah, Tyga, almost. Gavin, Cam, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I mean, Contender Series was. Let's go. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, we don't even want to talk about it. Let's move to UFC Noche. Fuck the Noche Contender Series until.
All right. All right, I agree. Honestly, I don't think I've won a card this year yet on Contender Series. I think maybe one. Share screen here. Rodrigo Senzanado versus Daniil Danchenko. This is a rebooked fight. It was supposed to be a few weeks ago. Now it's here. This is the Ultimate Fighter Championship. Rodrigo is plus 155. Dan Danchenko is minus 180. Drav, I think you were the only one who was passionate about this last time. What do you think? Knockout for Daniil or sub for Rodrigo?
Yeah, I'm still passionate about it, and I'm still gonna talk about this one because I'm high on this Danchenko guy. I think that his striking is super legit, very dangerous. The way he throws those stepping elbows is really, really nice. He's a dog. He's gonna go for it. He went 5 rounds before. Me and Key were talking about the fight that he lost, in the past. The guy that he lost to doesn't really have a good record, but it's still, it's a good guy on the regional, even though his record is not really good. He's not an easy guy to finish. And, that fight, when that happened, he was younger. He was 21. Now he's 24. And you can see in his last 2 performances that he's way more dangerous. You want to kill some people. And especially early on, he hurt everybody now. I really like I said, I really like his striking. Even the body work that he does is nice. His takedown defense is cool. Before he used to grapple more. Now he seems to prefer to strike. But yeah, his takedown defense looks solid to me. And that's probably important here because I think Rodrigo is going to try to grapple. Because on the feet, Rodrigo, he can swing, but he's so hittable, especially in the pocket. He's been hurt before. He has sketchy cardio. I don't like his body language as the fight extends. And on the feet, for me, it's all Danchenko here. I think he's going to hurt him bad on the feet. And then maybe on the ground, Rodrigo could take him down, but I don't really see it personally. And when he does, I don't think his grappling is all that good, but he does have a good back take. He's good on the ground. It's just, I think that even if he go to distance, Danchenko is going to throw way more volume. At distance, he's going to outkick him. In the pocket, he's going to just, hit him with a big shot, those elbows. And on the ground, even if he gets taken down, I think his get-up game is okay. So, and, Danchenko slowed down a little bit in his last fight, but, he pushed through it really well, even though he was tired after almost knocking this guy out early. No, it was not the last fight. It was the Richard Martin fight. By the way, that guy is he's 9-1, and he had a lot of wins on the regional against, decent competition on the LFA, and he had 7 knockouts. So just a point I want to mention, Rodrigo, the fight that he won against Jeff Cranston, right? It was a split decision, and he was tired in that fight. He was getting pieced up a bit in round 2 and 3. And I just want to say, this Jeff guy, he's all right, but he has 1 KO win in 14 pro fights. So just something to know, right? He got a little bit wobble at some point in that fight. Not a good look. Donchenko, man, if he hit him with those same shots, he's gonna put him out cold. So yeah, I like Donchenko. I think there's a lot of different ways you can play this fight, but yeah, I think he's gonna win and probably find a kill shot. It could be a decision as well, but if you go the distance, he's gonna do way more damage. He went 5 rounds before. I think his cardio is better. So yeah, I like this guy. I think he's solid at only 24. I hope that he wins.
Yeah, unders for me. Pretty straightforward. Don't really give a shit about this fight. Wasn't interested in Ultimate Fighter. Wasn't interested in it a few weeks ago in Vancouver. Still not interested in it now. Yeah. Key, anything from you?
And yeah, Rodrigo pulled out because of an injury only 1 month ago. I've tried to check what it was. I didn't find it. I didn't go too deep into it, but yeah, he had an injury last month. Did you know, Key?
I believe it was an ankle injury, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so nothing too crazy, but it was still only 1 month ago, and he's training with DC now at AKA, and DC was the coach for both guys this season. So just something to note, right? Because like DC know Donchenko a lot, and now he's training Rodrigo. So I don't know, I don't put too much stock into it, but just something to consider.
All right.
Yeah, I think here I'll side with Donchenko, but I'm not running to bet this fight. Cezinato, I have to pretty much assume that he's making improvements at DC's new camp. And I forget the name, but it's in Gilroy, California. And I know that Thomas Gann is over there. He'll be on Dana White Contender Series. Chapolin was over there. We saw his wrestling improve greatly in a fast time. So I have to assume that Cezinato is rounding out his game, because off of regionals, I mean, it's not overly impressive. If he's not having like a big moment instantly, it's kind of underwhelming. Donchenko, I think, will be able to win this fight as it progresses. Cezinato is a good athlete, but it's also weird that you openly admit to an injury and then a month later you get rebooked. And I think that's just kind of nonsense. So I'm not sure how to feel about this fight. Tough fights are always weird and stupid, it feels like. It never makes sense, as we just saw with Joseph Morales and Alibi. So who knows what this could be. But I think Donchenko gets it done. I think that he's a guy here, but I'll pass as of right now on this price.
The gym is, DC's fat fuck factory. That's what we'll call it, right? DC, the academy, I guess. He needs to wrestle to win. Kid's a talent. Don sleeps, says he. I kind of agree. Yeah, the fish tank thing's cool. Yeah, it's a long day at work. Sound like a club banger. No, I appreciate that. What's happening, Piezo? Thanks for joining us. All right, next fight here. Move right along. Alice Pereira, not to be confused with Aileen Pereira. This girl, who the hell knows, versus Montserrat Rendon. Low-level girls fight. Alice Pereira, 5-0, fighting soccer moms in a school gym. Montserrat, 6-1. Ass isn't UFC level. Odds on these two ladies, you get Alice Pereira minus 135, you get Rendon plus 115. Very low levels girls fight. I don't even know what to call it. What do you think, Key? Break it down for us.
Okay, is it crazy if I admit that this is probably in my top 3 fights that I'm excited for on this card?
Yeah, right.
Genuinely.
Yeah,
I'm genuinely.
It is crazy, Key. I got to say.
I'm genuinely
You're not being serious.
No, I'm dead ass. I'm genuinely pumped for this fight. No bullshit. This is
okay. We're listening to your breakdown.
This is great scenes. I think that Rendon is probably one of the biggest shitters to ever grace the UFC octagon. And Alice has no business being here yet. Being 19 years old, she's fighting random soccer moms, and it is important to say she does have a mutual win with Aiza Bertolso, who just won the LFA championship, I believe last weekend or 2 weekends ago. And so it's not like she's only falling complete cans, but these girls are not high level at all. And physically, she's just insanely dominant over these girls. From a skill perspective, Alice is, I believe, started in 2022 with MMA or striking. That's what it looks like based off of social media and the early footage that she showed from then to now. So she hasn't been in the sport long. She's with Carlos Felipe, who is a former UFC vet. Many people might remember him for some of his split decision slot fest that he had during the COVID era. But Alice Pereira is just a freak athletically. And I think that she's actually a pretty fluid athlete. Like I think that if she was at a real camp getting real training, I think that this is somebody that long-term has insane upside. But she loves getting to the body lock and finding an inside or outside trip. And she doesn't seem to know what she's doing on top, which is really weird. She just sort of sits in full guard and just doesn't really look to pass, doesn't look to move towards any positions that are going to get her to sub opportunity or anything. She just sort of sits there. And then whenever she decides to get back up, she just gets back up and then starts looking for bombs. She constantly goes for these big, huge movements with big knees and Superman punches, ends up punching her way into the clinch. So there's not much like technical skills at range. She does have a solid one too, but it's just long arms and being a fluid athlete. So her game just isn't figured out. She has decent athleticism, but her game hasn't been figured out. And I don't think that she's highly well trained at this point in her career. Rendon, on the other hand, is just the ultimate try. Like she just tries. She's not good. She's not athletic, but she does try. I think the early numbers on Rendon is arguably a decent bet because Rendon could find takedowns here. And we haven't seen Alice off of her back. So we don't know much of what she's going to look like off of her back from the footage that I saw. And I was able to find, I believe it was 3 or 4 fights. And so we don't have a great look of what Alice looks like off of her back. And I have to assume that Rendon on top, that has to be where she wins this fight. So due to the question marks, I don't have a bet on this fight. I think that Alice is the better athlete times 1,000. The UFC signed her. Mick is the one that reached out and signed her. They're signing her early, and it feels kind of sink or swimish. But they are giving her probably the worst girl they could have gotten her. So it's obvious that this is somewhat of them trying to give her a setup spot. But I'm not eating chalk on a 19-year-old that's beat up a couple Walmart Brazilian workers, and I'm supposed to be thinking that she's like the second coming of Christ. So for me, I do pick Alice to win, but that feels not based off of real tape and everything that we've seen, but more so upside and the fact that she's the plus athlete here. She's the faster girl. She's going to have physical advantages as the longer fighter too. I have to better off. I would pick her off of that alone, but I can see Rendon sneaking out a nasty, disgusting winning off of some top time, or even if Alice is like a complete white belt off of her back and a fish, maybe Rendon subs her. But I think that Alice is the side here. I think that she gets it done.
For once, I'll be the voice of reason. Guys, you do not have to bet this fight. Everyone's talking about it all week. Everyone's hyped. I even put out a tweet this morning saying, this isn't Alice Pereira's sister. This is just another Brazilian named Pereira, just like Michelle Pereira, just like the million of other ones. She's nothing special. Just bet the over if you want to bet something. 2 slobs trying to knock it out. Girls fight. Easy over. Should cash it 1 million clips. No problem. Jav, what do you think?
Whatever he said, just, listen to him.
Yeah, all right, perfect. I kind of agree. Ends in split decision, not a bad look. Rendon losing this fight against Daria, who at the time didn't have good takedown defensive get-up, says a lot. Yeah, she's ass. Both these girls are ass. This legit might be Vidal Franco female version. Yeah, it's a possibility.
I don't think that it'll be that bad, to be honest.
His sub round 3 was plus 10,000. Vidal.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Remember I told you guys about how good of a black belt Franco was too before the fight?
Yeah. Shit is right. I was watching that. I'm like, the logic is that the UFC is awful at scouting WMMA, it seems. And in my opinion, I think that they were rushing her because she is by far the best athlete that we've seen in a while from a pure athletic standpoint.
How many Modelos? Few, 2, 3. Don't think the over is free as you think, Peg. Probably not. I don't know. I just give advice out on the internet, and people just.
He didn't watch a single bit of tape. He's just talking shit.
No, I actually watched tape on.
He didn't watch a single bit of fucking.
I watched.
Fuck out of here. He's skipping comments while we're talking. All sorts of shit. This guy's drunk, man. We're taking host applications. Back this guy the fuck up.
I watched her walk with the girl who stands across the cage and walks over
man.
flat foot. Oh, wow. That was so impressive.
DM me or drive if you want to be the new host of BTL broadcast. We'll take applications.
All right. Next fight. Alessandro Costa. Alden Coria. Alan Coria, 10-3. Alessandro Costa, 14-4. Odds of these two gentlemen, you get Costa minus 430, Coria plus 330. I think it's just, I mean, this is a tough debut for a guy in Coria here. Alessandro Costa is good. Big step down in competition here for him. I mean, pretty easy side, but no way to bet it from a money line perspective. Maybe a finish, but I think Coria is pretty good. Drav, what are you thinking here for this one?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't tape this guy yet, so I don't have much to say. I'm just gonna take Costa. He's the type of guy you don't want to lay a big price on, just because he's chinny, man. His chin is weird. He's been knocked out by Albazi, but it's not a good look. And he's been hurt by a lot of guys. His last performance was good, but I also think Borjas fought a terrible fight. So yeah, and he has not fought in over a year. He's coming back, and this guy is fighting at Joshua Van Camp. I only saw just a couple of highlights. Seems to have good boxing, but I need to watch more. I don't have any opinion, but yeah. The only thing I'm sure about is I don't have no interest parlaying Costa as a big favorite like that.
This is the point. This is what I was getting at too. This is just too much too soon. Costa's just going to be a better fighter at that point. I'm sure Coria will win fights in the UFC at some point, but not this one. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I think the Coria could be decent, maybe. Just doesn't have a ton of pop. He's a long guy, and will have the size advantage here. But Costa's a tank. I mean, he walks forward. The leg kicks, he should be able to get his leg kick game going, similar to the Borjas fight. I could see a situation like that. I know that Costa's been at Oklahoma State with Diego Lopez wrestling a lot. Wouldn't be surprised to see him wrestle here. I think line is probably a little too wide, but on short notice, Costa should get it done. There's a tee-up spot after a little layoff. I think he's ready to go.
All right. Next fight, Key. This is going to be your Super Bowl. Your boy, Cedric Dumbass, is back. He's fighting Zach Reese. Zach Reese. If you want to go that far.
Tell us about your max bet on that fight.
Yeah, tell us how your boy Cedric Dumas is going to beat Zach Reese when Dumas is king of jiu-jitsu and Zach Reese is an actual black belt. How does this fight going to go?
I think that this fight goes and can go in a lot of different ways. I think it's probably somewhat volatile, if I'm being honest. Dumas, I'm not going to lie, I wanted to get to a bet in this spot. It is one of the hardest clicks in the world. I think just an absolute head case. I mean, not only all the criminal stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's one thing. But I went into tape and then started to listen to some interviews while I had fights playing. And the guy is just like, I don't know. He needs help, like severe, like genuinely help. The guy said that he's going to break Anthony Johnson's knockout record and then he's going to retire by 36 with the belt and then he's going to have it all and he's going to be on top of the game. Like just unreal shit that like makes no sense. He said that he's proven that he can go to decision now. So now it's back to knocking motherfuckers out. So I don't know what the fuck this guy has going on, honestly. I think that this is a much closer fight from a skills, just strictly skills and technique standpoint. Reese is not very good. He's chinny, he gasses, and he has about a round of gas in him and he'll fight hard. But the guy is not durable, lacking in the cardio. Dumas has the worst reactions in the world to getting hit. It seems like he just hates it. He looks like a guy that doesn't spar a lot. And so it's really weird. Anytime he gets touched, he instantly, just curls out. It looks awful. And he did give excuse. I bet Macau at minus 190 against Dumas last time out. And Dumas had, he said that was not him in there and that he was just in there to get a paycheck so that he could pay for, I believe, his dad's headstone or some shit. So this guy's just got a lot of shit going on in his life. He probably shouldn't be a UFC fighter. He needs help. He posted having $13 in his bank account and shit. That's going viral on Twitter. So, I don't know, man. It's if I was wipe away all personal stuff aside, it would be much easier to get to Dumas bet. And I do think that it's clear dog or pass. You should not be parlaying Zach Reese. But Dumas has just changed completely from what he looked like on the regional scene. In the regional scene, he looked like a free-flowing striker with some decent athleticism and skills. And now in the UFC, he's turned into pretty much a lay-and-pray grappler that hates being punched. So I'll pass on this fight.
Dude, Zach Reese by sub is the play, plus 300. Very straightforward. Clear levels difference here. What do you think, Trav?
What is he going to do, pull guard?
Could pull guard, could figure out a way to get to his back. Who the hell knows? But if it happens, it's over pretty much from there if it goes to the
I think Dumas is the better wrestler here.
Yeah, I guess you could say that as of like the more recent fights. But, I mean, if Dumas is wrestling, I don't know what's going on in this fight. Dumas is wrestling. He's putting himself into Zach Reese's guard. Then he's definitely a problem. He's going to get fluke armbarred.
Zachary's the same man that allowed Dusko Todorovic to sit on top. And
that fight was disgusting.
Nasty guard. No, world-renowned guard.
Dumas can't half guard for round 2 and 3 after scare round 1. God's plan.
Yeah, honestly, I don't I don't hate GTD here, because if you guys have noticed, when these guys don't like finish in round 1 or doesn't get finished themselves in round 1, they tend to go the distance. Like, they're not good finisher as the fight goes on. And, I could see like Dumas playing on top and, Reese trying to go for some submission that you don't get. If there's a finish, I think it's going to be early in round 1. But if, nobody's getting finished, I think, last fight, Reese was just such a sloppy fight against Dusko, man. It was so bad to watch. So, yeah, I think Reese has a chance to finish him early, but I think Dumas, honestly, he's kind of better than Reese in some aspect. Like, skills for skills, it's close, but yeah, I can get myself to play him with all the outside of the cage stuff. I can't get there personally. But I do think, like you said, it's dog or pass for sure. If you're brave, you can bet the GTD and hope for the best. Because if you go past round 1, you're going to probably be cashing. That's what I'm thinking.
All right. Dravi always finishes in round 1. What's happening, Wimbot? Thanks for joining us. Dusko better than Dumas? Yes.
I mean, Dusko is a wash, bro. He's so wash.
Let's go, Lord Silva. I agree, pulled out. Good luck on the match today.
That's good. Good luck tonight.
Dumas camp half guard. Yeah. Beating Penez, top 5 flukes of all time. What's happening, Blumdog?
That's a good win that he has. Zachary Reese doesn't have any good win.
Split decision, maybe, but I doubt it. I think it's Zach Reese sub for me personally.
What is Dumas by split? Can you guys see it? Like, I can. Dumas by split decision is 16-1.
Yeah, that's nuts. That would be nutty. Over Benino said over 1.5. I think Dravi kind of agree with you. What's the price on over 1.5?
I mean, no, actually, I don't like it, because if there's a finish, I'm pretty sure it's going to come under 1.5. And if you go past that, I think it's going to go the distance. So I'd rather just play the GTD that is like plus 375. It's a massive price compared to like the over 1.5 at plus 150. So I would take the GTD instead of the over 1.5, actually, for the difference in the price.
All right. Next fight. Luis Gurule versus Jesus Aguilor. Jesus Aguilor, 11-3. Luis Gurule is 10-1. Not my bad. Luis Gurule.
Gurudo, you say? What?
Gurule. I had like a mini stroke. Take a look here. Luis minus 220. Jesus Aguilor plus 185. Drav. Luis minus 220 now after having a pretty I don't want to call it a fluke loss, but like a very weird knockout loss against Ode, who later on went to go fight Steve Erceg in a very close fight. So kind of aged well, that loss. Jesus Aguilor pulls guard, swings heavy. He's a little rat. What do you think?
People were saying in the chat, you always have a mini stroke. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a fluke that he lost his last fight. I mean, Ode, when he wins, he's going to catch you with something big. That's what he does, right? He's super fast. He has big power for flyweight. And Gurule was making his UFC debut. And he was winning that fight, by the way, till he got caught. But yeah, he got caught by Ode, who's a much better striker than Jesus, who's much bigger, taller, longer, and way faster. It's not even close. I don't like Aguilor personally. He's just a guillotine merchant, overhand or bust. That like he only has a big overhand on the feet. I guess you can say decent leg kicks and a guillotine. That's what he does, right? But he doesn't have good wrestling. I think his striking is shit. He's so small. Gurule is actually training with good guys, with Brendan Weval and all these people. So he has good people to train BJJ with. He has a wrestling background. I like his pressure. I like his volume when he pressure. His cardio is really good. He's also very strong. I don't think Jesus is gonna be able to take him down, and even if he does, he's not gonna hold him down. I think Gurule could take him down, but if he does, he needs to be careful because, like I said, the guillotine is how Aguilor is probably gonna win. But I don't see that. I really don't. And if you go to the distance, you're gonna have Gurule walking forward, landing way more volume, landing the bigger shot, being the better striker. Gurule is not like the best striker himself. He's hittable and he's not all that good, but I like his pressure, his presence in the cage, and he has the way higher ceiling of the two. It's no brainer to me. I think Gurule is gonna get it done. I think he should be a bigger favorite actually than even the current price. I think it's by decision though. Aguilor is tough.
Yeah, I'm on Gurule as well. I played minus 190. I just think he's better everywhere. I think Jesus is a jump to guillotine fluke artist, not a good fighter. He's very dependent on freak shit happening. Like, fuck this guy. I'm so sick of him. Like, I'm glad to be on the opposite side of him again. Key, what are you thinking? Key, how do you like that? How's that for process?
Yeah, that's a great process. I think the Gurule should get it done. I think the driving peg covered it perfectly. Gurule is just a better mixed martial artist here. He should get it done.
All right, we'll take a look. Have you guys seen pictures of Aguilor getting mogged by? No, I haven't, but I think about it. I recommend not watching that. Oh, he's talking about Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that's a fucked up video. We don't even have to bring that in here, honestly. Gurule not better at jumping 50 gillies per fight. Exactly. He's a fucking clown. Me versus any last name other than Smith is funny. I'm glad you guys appreciate it. He was even in the intro of that rap song the guy made. Aguilor can't keep getting away with this. I couldn't agree more. What's Louis' decision prop?
It's like plus 130.
Jesus Aguilor. All right, cool. That's it. Jesus Gilly round 1. Fuck that shit, bro. That should happen to breaking my fucking TV. I won't go down like that again. All right. Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. Amanda Lemos 15-4-1. Tatiana Suarez 10-1. Odds on these two ladies, you can get Suarez minus 470, Amanda Lemos plus 370. High level girls fight, honestly. Key, I'm gonna have you go first here. I mean, the very obvious play pre-tape was Tatiana Suarez by sub or ITD, because obviously Lemos doesn't know how to wrestle. But then we just watched her fight a girl in whatever the cute little butterfly neck tat, Lucindo. He just wrestled her for 15 minutes and looked great on top. So, like, say Tatiana Suarez is broken from not getting her destined belt. Can Lemos beat her up on the feet? Because I was almost I went into the tapes being like Tatiana Suarez inside the distance, and then just kind of started being like, damn, Lemos does have a shot here and some chances. What do you think? Sorry for dragging that out.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fine way to assess this fight. I think there's questions on both sides. Lemos is obviously attempting at least to get better in the wrestling, and we saw in the Lucindo fight some improved grappling, but that's Yasmin Lucindo. I'm not moved by you wrestling Yasmin Lucindo, I'll be honest. That's not coming close to the wrestling that I believe that Tatiana Suarez possesses. And I do think that Lemos is a good fighter, but just, I mean, I watched back the Mackenzie Dern fight, and I had Lemos in that fight, her money line, and I mean, just frustrating scenes, like just getting grappled and re-grappled for no reason, bad decision making. I mean, it's just really tough to defend some of those decisions that she makes on bottom. Tatiana, I don't think that she is what she used to be athletically. I think that the neck surgeries and all the injuries have added up, and she's just a stiff fighter at this point. And the way Lee fight, like, yeah, the stats don't look bad, but that was like a complete, like, soul-taking ass whooping, I'll be honest. Like, yeah, she didn't take crazy damage, but Wei Lee just made her look like all the wrestling credentials, all the hype was worth nothing at all. I think that Lemos will be able to defend maybe a couple, but I think the Suarez gets her down. I don't know if it's complete domination. I didn't parlay Suarez at early numbers. I know a lot of people did, and that's what spiked this line to, I believe, minus 420 now. So I can understand Suarez's large favorite because I have to imagine she has some success. But Lemos is dangerous too. But I think the Suarez gets on top round 1 or round 2. I could see her finding a sub. But once it starts to get past that, I believe that Lemos could play it a little bit safe and land some bombs and be able to leg kick and take advantage of Suarez being so stiff and lacking all mobility at this stage of at the stage of her career. So I don't know. Patchy mix, Tatiana Suarez, fucked up household over there going on right now with the way their career's been moving for the past year. But I think the Suarez gets it done is my pick.
All right. So did you say inside distance or decision?
I'll say sub, round 2 sub. I'll throw that out.
All right. John, what are you thinking here?
Peg is writing that down. He's ready to go bet it now. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, I think we were all on Weili Zhang against Suarez, and one of the reasons was the physicality, right? Because we know Weili is such a tank, and that Suarez, like he said, her physicality is not as strong as it used to be, and she made her match here. You know, Weili was just a stronger girl, a girl that's really good on the ground, and you know, we can look at her last fight and say, yeah, she got beat up. That's true, but honestly, she won round 1, and she was able to get her down early. And if you watch Lemos versus Weili, it's like a 50-43, something like that, right? A beat down, like one of the most dominant performance from a champion, right? So it's not a good look either. And Lemos is 38 right now. So it's not like she's getting, better. I guess you can say, yeah, she looked good against Dern. She did, but even though she had like the best performance she could have, it was still a really close fight that she almost lost and fucked up. She had that KO in round 2, basically. She had it. And somehow she ended up in a close fight with Dern's on top, with Dern reversing, and she engaged in the grappling too much. Same mistakes against fucking Jandiroba. Why are you engaging the grappling with her and pulling guillotine? Like, what are you thinking? I don't get it. But yeah, Lemos, nasty power, good calf kick, so that could be a path here. But at distance, Suarez is gonna get her legs beat up, so I don't think she's gonna stay at distance for long. She's gonna close the distance, get those takedowns, and we have seen Suarez get everybody down, including Weili Zhang. So I don't think she's going to have issues taking down Lemos. And on the ground, the difference in BJJ is massive to me. And also, like, Weili Zhang almost finished her like 3 times. And Suarez, to me, is better on top than Weili personally, especially like BJJ-wise. So I do think that she's going to get probably a submission. She could even get a TKO on top. And if the fight stay on the feet, like, Lemos is live to crack her, that's for sure. So it's just a matter of fact, do you think she gets takedowns? And even if, like, they have grappling situation, I personally can't trust Amanda Lemos to just disengage in a grappling, keep up on the feet, because she has not done that against Weili, against Dern, against Jandiroba. So I'm not going to hack like at 38 that's going to change. So yeah, I think Suarez, easy matchup for her. Actually, I have a hot take. I think that she's going to, win this easily and get back in title. I think she's going to get back in title contention. Probably fight like Yan Jainan or something, submit her as well. And then after that, she's going to be back fighting Dern versus Jandiroba winner. And I think she could be a champion next year. So we'll see.
Ooh, I like that. It's actually a pretty good path for her too, honestly. She goes that route. pretty easy path.
I mean, you got to think if she doesn't take the Wei Lee fight or weights, like she's in the title fight right now for the vacant title and probably beats Dern.
Beats both. I think beats both. You think she has a little Janaroba?
I think that she would be able to control the grappling scenarios with her.
I think so too.
So.
Julian Robinson title fight first now. No KO. I kind of disagree because she get her in crucifix and do ground and pound. So.
No, I mean, just to be fair, I'm not saying she's gonna knock her out on the feet. I'm saying TKO because I think on the match she could
crucifix.
TKO.
It'll be a crucifix.
She did that against. I think it was Carla Esparza, right? She did that against. So yeah, she could do that against Lemos.
And was Andrade just turned into a sub because it was ground and pound that turned into a sub, I think, if I remember correctly.
And I have a feeling that Lemos is gonna try to get that guillotine and show Suarez who have the better guillotine. She's gonna try to play that game and get sub. I think that's what's gonna happen.
UFC knows is going to decision. 2 former title challengers. That's true. So I guess that's kind of irrelevant. The whole they fought for the belt and lost it.
Yeah, I don't. It should be like the prelim.
Suarez sub 3. No, I think ITD is better. It's a better look. Suarez looking so athletic last fight. Where did this price?
Yeah, I do agree, but at the same time, she was fighting the most physical girl in the entire division.
Suarez who's in. Yeah. All right. Peg didn't even try and pronounce Jorge. I don't know, whatever the fuck.
Jesus Christ, man.
Is that the girl that my girl Caitlin Souza fucking butchered the fraud? Is that who that is?
She's not a fraud, but yeah, she did KO.
Yeah, she did. That's right. Spread of the week. Cash it again. Spread wasn't even needed. Next fight. Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Armin Tarsukian's worst nightmare. Silva is minus 110. Claudio Puelles minus 110. So it's a straight up pick 'em. Who are you guys picking in this dumpster fire of a fight? I mean, we got the leg locker in Puelles, and we got Neto BJJ, who doesn't even do BJJ anymore, and he's got heavy ass hands. So, Drav, you go first. You're laughing. Who the fuck do you think wins this?
Yeah, I just had one of my friends texting me, Peg has no clue what he's talking about. So that's just funny. But yeah, I mean, going into this fight,
about what?
I think Claudio Puelles is a lock. Don't you guys think? No, I'm kidding. Peg is like, yeah, maybe. Peg is like, let me.
He said, now that you say that, let me start. Let me retake.
I didn't mention that. He is. The leg lock, it's coming.
Yeah, the thing I'll say with Puelles, right? He's young. He took a year and a half, almost 2 years off. I feel like he's gonna come back looking better. I have a feeling about that, but I can prove it. I don't know about it. And Silva, he's ancient at this point. He's 30, 36, took a lot of damage, and always been like the guy that loses some fight, have some moments in there, but Puelles, lost to Ziam and Dan Nokers, I don't think that's bad losses. It's just bad matchup for him overall. And even that Ziam fight, he made it look close, even though that was a weird fight. But yeah, I do think it's a weird fight, honestly. I don't have the best read on it. I have a feeling that Puelles is going to win just because he's younger. I think he's more likely to win the grappling. And he has, potential to look better. And I'm certain that Silva is not going to look better. He could just look worse. So yeah, I'm leaning Puelles, but it's the one I want to look at a little bit more in deep and see if I can get there because betting Puelles is never a lock. So
I tend to agree with you here. Personally, I'm not taking a bet on the fight itself, but I think the time off is going to fare well for Puelles. He's a guy who kind of had a relatively undeveloped game. He was just kind of Imanari rolling for leg lock, shit like that. And, he's a younger guy, right? He's 29 years old. We're looking at a guy who's, 36 or 37? Yeah, so he's 37 years old. We've kind of seen everything he's done. Claudio Puelles at least has a chance to grow here. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's got to be Puelles or pass for me. But like I said, I'm not trying to do that. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I was really trying to get down to Joaquim Silva bet here. But Puelles, I don't know. I listened to some interviews and he was talking about before the ZM fight, he didn't train pretty much at all until he got the call for the fight that he wasn't training or anything. And you take a look at his Instagram and stuff. I mean, it seems like he's probably gotten with Gotten some good juice down there in Florida. Let's just say that. Guys looking way
Yeah,
more
I
built
know
out.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty crazy change. I'm not gonna lie. Feels a little one more of the blatant offenses that we've seen in a little bit. But he says that he's now back taking it serious. He said that he did get hurt. I believe it was a hand injury, and that he's been ready since about May or so. And that he's been at Kill Cliff getting in a bunch of work, working on his striking and all this stuff. And he is still young. I mean, he's 29 years old. He's been around for a while, and I believe that a lot of his wins are bullshit or just good matchmaking for him. But I just don't know what I'm gonna get. It seems like he is improving, and he's been away for a while, so I have to imagine. And he said everything that you want to hear him say pretty much in that interview. If you're a Claudio guy. And so I have to imagine that he's getting better, and his wrestling did look improved in the Ziem fight. Like he did give Ziem some problems with wrestling. And so I don't think it's just strictly leg lock or bust. I think he could get on top and do work. Joaquin does have good hips, but he gasses. And I think that if he doesn't have a big moment early, then it's kind of like, what does this fight really look like? So there's a really weird fight. Joaquin's also on the juice for what it's worth, and that is like pretty obvious too. But I don't know. Both guys are mid in my opinion, and this kind of just depends on if Joaquin really decides to just always disengage the grappling and continue trying to look to strike and hit him with bombs. But I could see him trying to pull Gilly and do dumb shit that leads to him on his back and tires himself out. So this is a stupid fight, not something that should be on UFC Noche, but I believe the UFC is doing Claudio a little bit of a favor because I know he does some work for them on the broadcasting side for the Spanish-speaking people.
The Peruvians. All right, 2-3 sub. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, actually. Yeah, the sunshine and water in Florida. I believe it. Trying to catch up on research. Yeah, Job, you're trying to catch up on research. You're supposed to be ahead of time. Why did Claudio take time off? Anyone know? Because he fucking stinks.
That was a hand injury initially, and then he just couldn't get booked until now.
Good fight. I think that Kill Cliff now, it's major shape, can improve. Definitely. Lock is insane. Juiced, Pueles. Fight goes the distance. I don't know. I have to watch Hooker Claudio. How could you ever bet on him? I mean, that's Dan Hooker also you're talking about.
Minus 144 Dan Hooker. The streets remember.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking about Dan Hooker. After watching, how could you ever bet on him? I mean, dude, it's Dan Hooker. Dan the Hangman Hooker. Can't teach ticker. All right, next fight. Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. Todorovic is sitting at minus 400. Jose Medina plus 300. I mean, this is just a freaking sloppy ass fight. We got the cab driver versus Dusko Todorovic. I mean, Drav. It's got to be Todorovic here, right? No dog shot here for you.
Let me go last. I'm posting a bet for my people.
Okay, Key. Todorovic versus Medina. It's got to be Dusko, right?
No, I don't know. This is like, I guess, but this is like the ghost of Dusko. Dusko is like, it looks like it hurts to like for him to move at this point. Like he is insanely washed athletically, like insanely. I believe it's double knee surgeries. The chin is obviously going. I mean,
but Medina's not knocking people out, you know?
Yeah, he's not. But and so like I have to imagine that. I mean, Dusko is. I know he's completely washed athletically, but from a skill perspective, I guess he is better. But Medina, like, he's getting real training, I believe, at Killcliff. Could be making improvements. He's a dog. He'll push the pace. Dusko's cardio also looks awful at this stage of his career. So maybe Medina, like, could we see a Medina swamp form?
Come back to the swamp forms, comes back and wins the PKO in the third.
Like, imagine the scenes at fucking Noche. Like, that would set the place on fire. So, like, I think this is easy dog or pass territory. If you're parlaying Todorovic, seek help. I wouldn't play the guy minus 400 against fucking Peg. So, I think the Medina is the side from a betting standpoint. I picked Dusko to win because I know him to at least have beaten a real fighter before. But, I mean, it's not like Dusko has these elite wins. But we've known him to actually be a decent fighter at one stage of his career. So I say Dusko, but from a line standpoint, betting standpoint, it is easy Medina or pass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a little boring here. I wouldn't even bet on this fight, to be totally honest with you. But if you do, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go with Dusko here, just because I think I don't think he really has anything or Medina doesn't have anything that Dusko hasn't seen before. Dusko's probably the better submission artist.
But what do you think about the cardio? Like, what happens in round 2, round 3 if Dusko starts fading? Like, Medina is walking.
Is Medina going to push a pace on him, or is Dusko going to control the pace of the fight? Like, I don't see a world. I mean, I guess I could see a world where Medina tries to get in his face and doesn't fuck off, sure. But I feel like Dusko kind of has answers on the feet and on the ground for Medina here. And, Medina off his back is a fish. So, Dusko should be able to, if he takes him down, he'll control that pace. But he will gas out if that's the case. So I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's honestly a massive pass for me as well. I think Dusko should win this. He's way more skills, but it's kind of funny because Medina, the only thing he has is he's durable, and Dusko doesn't have a chin, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, Dusko way better skills, but even his skills are not really good. And if you go watch his wins in the UFC, you look at their record, it's pretty ugly. So, yeah, I think he should win. Medina should not beat here, but I don't think Dusko should be here anymore as well as on a 3-5 losing streak. So, yeah, I think he should win, but no way I'm paying the chalk, and no way I have interest betting Medina either.
All right. So, Champ says, I don't understand betting Medina pre. You'll get a bet number live midway round 1. Definitely. I'd agree with that. I think I like the Dusko sub angle. Fight doesn't go at plus money. I don't know, dude. It's hard to finish this cab driver. He doesn't want to clock out. Medina plus 260. Medina zombie decision. I mean, that would be wild. Dusko no gas tank. Fair. Dusko. People's main event. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. This is just I don't know what they're doing at this rate. All right. We're going on to the main card now. Guys, comment, and subscribe. We do this for free every single week. We make you guys money. I mean, still the most profitable podcast in the space. I mean, look, damn, you listen to the show, even I'm profitable this year, right? So, just lock in, listen to us. Anywhere we're passionate, just bet it, and you'll probably win money. That's kind of how life works, especially drop. All right, Santiago Luna versus Quang Lee. First fight of the main card. Quang Lee is sitting at plus 115. Santiago Luna minus 135. Drav, I'm making you go first here. I mean,
I'll take this one because I actually feel really passionate about this fight.
I do too, and I'm hoping you're on the same side as me.
Yeah.
So does Quang Lee take over the fight later, or is Luna knock him out early?
Yeah, I think that Luna actually can grind out a victory here. I got this line. I put this out to Dub Club members at plus 165. We play that all the way through plus 115. That line sat for over 5 hours on Bet Online. That was an easy click for me personally. I don't think that Luna is necessarily ready to be here. And I do think that this could go wrong in a couple different ways. I think that he could adrenaline himself out. And I do think that this is a tough ask to open up the main card on UFC Noche as a Mexican kid at 21 years old making your UFC debut. That is a tough ask. So I'm not saying that current line you should be playing Luna at minus 135. I think the value is completely gone at this point. But I do side with him to win because I think that one, the wrestling background, I know that he was on the national wrestling scene for Mexico. He also competed in California State tournament wrestling. So the guy has real wrestling credentials and real background, and it shows in his fighting. And everybody was talking about the level of competition and all this stuff. And while all the guys he fought in UWC and the guy on Tough Enough, I believe that those guys aren't any good. But one, it showed that Luna has real power in his hands, real pop. Two, he can wrestle, and he can chain wrestle at that against the cage. I was actually impressed a little bit with his cage wrestling because I expected his open mat wrestling to be more dominant, but it was actually his cage wrestling that stuck out to me on the grappling standpoint. And on the feet, he's getting better. I think that he has some bad habits defensively. I think he gets a little too square at times. But his athleticism and his power prevails against a lot of the level of this competition. And I was able to find the Magomed by Doeb fight. And I know a lot of people were saying that they weren't able to find that. I found it for free on Lights Out. I forget the exact website. But I did find that fight, and he drowned Magomed, honestly. Like,
Peg could never.
Yeah, Peg's not willing to dive in the trenches. He doesn't know what that's like. But I dived and found that fight. And, I mean, he drowned that guy. I mean, defended every takedown in the book, got up whenever he did get taken down, showed urgency, broke the hands, and was able to tee off at range. And it wasn't some clean fight or anything because Magomed kept on pressing the pace, and it did get sloppy. But Santiago showed a lot of balls in that fight to continue fighting, defended the takedowns against the cage, and was able to pour it on late and then pressed on. And what I believe he would have won the decision anyways, but still pressed on and found the back and got the sub in round 3 at the end of round 3. The kid is, in my opinion, like really, really impressive and a very fluid athlete for his age. I'm not saying that he's a special prospect or anything because I haven't seen it enough against good competition, but it's obvious that he's a talented guy. I think that Kwang is a solid striker on his terms, and he can snipe some stuff, and I believe he does have power, and I could see him hurting or sparking Luna. But Kwang has shown that he can be wrestled over 15 minutes. He will fade as the fight goes on, and if he's not getting his way or instantly dominating, shit starts to get a little bit tricky. I really think that Luna is really, really solid. I mean, Long Zhao big dicked Kwang and just tossed him around and ended up finishing him in round 3. I'm not saying that Luna does that exactly, but I mean, split decision with Sal Guerrero, who was nothing but wrestling in that fight. Sal is just a muscle hamster. All he can do is wrestle, had no striking to offer. And Kwang lost that fight and got gifted a decision. And so that's a fight that easily, I mean, Sal was taking that to the commission and appealing that decision. Everybody, even the announcers, couldn't believe that Kwang got that fight. I could see a situation like that where Luna just wrestles him for 15 minutes. And I think that the power and athleticism of Luna could prevail in the pocket, and he ends up finding the chin of Kwang. So I think Luna's the clear upside play here. Trajectory of career, he's going up. Kwang Lee is just a middle of the road, glad to be here type of UFC guy. The UFC must think a lot of this kid to give him this fight on short notice and to open up the main card. And I think that we have a potential, not star, but an exciting prospect on our hands. So Luna is the side. And I think at this point, like I said, all value's going. But if you got plus money and if you were locked in with me, you definitely got some good value on this fight.
So, yeah, I got to this fight a little late. I didn't really start looking into it until I got Lee at plus odds. Right. And then that's when I kind of started doing tape, like, because I want to get to a Lee bet. Kind of leaving tape, kind of looking like he just said, like, Lee can definitely win like a niche way or win by KO. But like, if I want to talk about who's a better wrestler, it's going to be Luna. If I want to talk about who's a better pocket boxer, it's going to be Luna. Who has more power? Pretty close to similar. Who's got a better chin? Definitely leaning Luna. He's Mexican. So, I mean, it's got to be Luna or pass here. My only thing is kind of like you said, and here's a narrative I spoke with Pepe. Pepe played minus 110, seems to think it's fine. My only thing was earlier, like, listen, they're bantamweights and he's 21 years old. So, yeah, like, he's either going to look stellar, like the future of the UFC, or we're going to see him go out like we do on many Dana White Contender Series nights, where we see these young guys come in on the big stage for the first time and they adrenaline dump. And this is a Mexican kid going out on UFC Noche card, first fight to open the card against a good striker. Like, you can't tell me looking at this fight like Kwang Lee looking at maybe a huge line live isn't a bad bet, because like if he dumps or Luna starts to slow down, like Kwang Bang's there to do it. So like me right now, pre-tape, I think it's just going to be a pass. I think I missed, like Key said, I feel like I really missed my value at this point. If anything, it's got to be like a Kwang Lee, like, live bet for me, if anything. What do you think, Drav?
I like this Luna kid. What price you got, kid? Key?
Plus 165.
Okay, so that's crazy. I did tape it late, so I didn't even see the plus money. But I
He's
mean,
playable till -140, Pepe says.
I can't fully approve that message, but yeah, I played at +165 and it went down to +120 and stood there for a while after that.
yeah, I kept him a slight favorite. I think -150 for him makes sense. So I think anything in like -125 ish is good. But yeah, did you guys watch his amateur decision fight?
No, I did not.
Right,
No,
so
I don't watch amateur fights.
He got hurt in that fight. The guy hit him with a spinning elbow, and he almost put him out cold. But Luna showed a ton of heart, so that's good for you because like he got hurt bad. The elbow he got hit with, it was like the same, very similar to how Murphy hit Pico with. Right, Pico went out cold. He did not. He got hurt bad. He went for wrestling, and then that other guy was on top of him for like 30 seconds left, full mouth, and he survived. And he came back round 3, and he won the 3rd round. Obviously, it's 3 minutes rounds, but that showed me a ton of heart because he was like 19 years old back then. No experience. That's really good to see. But he got hurt. I'm saying that because the guy is really hittable. That's one of his weaknesses. He's really hittable. And Quang Lee's going to bang. Like, that's what he does. That's even his nickname, right? So he's going to swing with him. So that's a concern on the Luna side. He can't get cracked. He's young, only 21, making his debut. And I actually like his striking. I think his boxing is cool. Sometimes he goes like, Peg, mute yourself. There's some echo again. But sometimes you go with those really nice body shot, big power in the pocket. And I think that he has an eye ceiling personally. And then you add the wrestling background, the wrestling that he has, the back take that he has. He's really aggressive on the back with those rear naked choke. I really like him. He does slow down a bit, but what I've noticed is he does push through it. So that's something to note. It just, with the UFC debut, adrenaline dump can happen, and if you slow down and Quang Lee's, putting it on him, that could be a thing. But Quang Lee doesn't have the best cardio either. He slowed down himself, right? So I don't really think he's gonna like push a pace on him late. So because of that, I like Luna. And Quang Lee, he can be taken down, as you guys said. Luna is the better wrestler to me. Now the BJJ, I could see some tricky situation for both guys personally down there. But yeah, on the feet, I've seen Quang Lee crack as well. He's really hittable himself. And I do think they're both live to knock out each other. I think the under is a good play here. I'm going to give it out on the podcast since I didn't give any bet this week. But I think under 2.5 fights end by KO. I do think it's a really solid plays just because I do see finishing upside on both sides. The way they're going to strike in the pocket, I think they can both hurt each other. And I do think that in the submission game, we could see a submission a way or another. So yeah, when there's a lot of finishing upside on both sides, you have a guy making his debut that is young. It does add volatility. And Quang Lee, in his the fight against Long Jai, right, getting put out in round 3 like that, it's not a good look because Long Jai doesn't have big power, right? We've seen him go to decision multiple times. So I do think his chin is a bit questionable. I'm not saying like he's chinny, but Luna does pack a punch. So I think he can put him out cold personally in the pocket. The way he swing, I think he can take his back, submit him. If he go to distance, I'll lean Luna. So because of that, I do think that he's the side. It's just, the UFC debut at his age as a favorite when you take a step up in competition is a bit concerning. But yeah, he does pass the eye test for me. I think that he has a bright future in the company. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring. Excited for this fight, honestly. So we'll see what happens. But I do think the kid is solid. It's just that you can see that he's still green and make mistakes and hittable. So, and Quang Lee, like I said, they're gonna swing. So yeah, ends by KO under. The under, if you can get plus money, it's fine. And ends by KO, it's like plus 250, plus 260. Also really solid. What's up, Peg? You're muted.
Oh no, I was just blocking this light and I was seeing because I see like keys brightness changes every time I go like that. So I wasn't sure what that was. Hate betting chalk straight up, dude. That's life sometimes. Luna Silva parlay plus 149. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that you lay the chalk and, some spots are really good and massive value. Like it's minus 150. It's not like it's minus 300. So
what's happening, Cody? You got to know the percentage that you're betting. Every time you bet a line, you're looking at a percentage when you're looking at the minus in front of it. You just got to know off the top of your head what those percentages are and then decide.
You hear this?
and I'm just giving lessons on how gambling works, guys. I think I'll just parlay Luna and Silva. We'll get some plus money. I mean, I'm with you there, brother. I like that. Like there's none of that.
No, I don't think so. I think you can get finished personally.
Got him plus 180.
Yeah, you guys did your job. Plus money is a really good bet. Even at Pick'em, is still pretty good.
Guy on Luna or not? He said good to minus 140, so minus 110 is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I think he should be minus 150. So minus 125
plus 500 is a crazy price.
Yeah, I do think it's solid. But yeah, just bet the under and ends by KO.
What's the under blind at?
I got plus 125. I think it's still plus 105.
What's that?
Yeah, plus 105. Yeah, so plus 105 and ends KO is like plus 250, plus 260. I do think that's probably out if I
Why
finish.
would you take ends by KO then? I don't see either of these guys subbing the other.
Yeah, they could, but I favor the KO personally.
Okay. I might take fight ends by KO. All right. Alexander Hernandez, Diego Ferreira, our Super Bowl. Diego Ferreira is finally going to do what needs to be done and take out the grade 8. We're sick of this shit and this run at 155. It's a straight pick up minus 110 apiece. It should be. Or I bet it just before the pod. I took Carlos Ferreira minus 110 before the pod at minus 110. I guess it's like minus 120-ish now. You can find a few 105s at like Bet Rivers. So yeah,
so I guess you're gonna explain it to us because like last time you should have PTSD because you bet against Hernandez with at what was it? K Super minus 300, and then 1 month after you go out there and you bet Hernandez, you bet against Hernandez again. So you're gonna have to explain it to us with a 40 years old. What's going on?
So the reason I'm betting against Hernandez here is because first off, I do think that listen. Not that it wasn't a horrible stoppage, but stoppage was a little. The guy could have rolled around for 2 more seconds. I think the whole fight starts to change in round 2, round 3. Carlos Hernandez, Jesus, racist.
What possibly could have made you think that the fight was going to change?
Just intuition, just gambler's intuition. I just knew
intuition. He said,
yeah, but either way, Alex Hernandez, right? Looking at this fight in general. Alex Hernandez gets gaseous used later on in the fight. And we're talking about when we look at this fight at standing, right? You got to assume a lot of people are giving Alexander Hernandez a slight edge. Kind of fair. But at the same time, Diego Ferreira is not some slouch. He has good power on the feet. He has some process on the feet. If we're going to talk about any sort of wrestling, now we're talking all Diego Ferreira all day. If you see Hernandez jump on top of him and start shooting takedowns, guillotine is going to be there. Scrambles for Diego Ferreira are fire. The sweeps, Rebecca couldn't even top time him. So now you're going to tell me Hernandez is going to come in and top time Ferreira? Yeah, right. So he could sweep him. He can.
I don't think nobody think he's going to top time Ferreira.
I had some conversations in some spaces where people thought that this was going to be a thing. But either way, Look at Alex Hernandez not too long ago against Jim Miller. Jim Miller, sure, he won that fight. Alex Hernandez was gassed, laying face down with Jim Miller on his back. If that's Diego for Carlos Ferreira there, that fight's over and he's subbed. So you know what? I think on the feet, it's going to be an interesting fight. If Diego decides to wrestle and push a pace and we're going to go to war, the bigger dog is Ferreira when it comes to a dog factor. You talk about experience. I think Diego Ferreira has more experience here. On the feet, people are giving Hernandez way too much credit. Yeah, he looked good in his last fight and scored a KO. That's kind of put into this line. But he's also outstruck Chase Hooper. That's not the best thing in the world. Okay, it doesn't classify this or define this as a big line. And a lot of the money is coming in now on Diego Ferreira because people I think are seeing what I'm seeing. We're the further this fight extends, the better if it favors Carlos, and especially if there's any sort of grappling exchanges or wrestling exchanges, Carlos can get the best of those. So I don't know. I think this is CDF easy here. We watch him go down. All right, Drav, what do you think of that breakdown?
It's okay. It's okay. We have people, in the comments, asking about your capping ability. You can tell them you're in profit this year. It's more than
you can go look at 30 units of profit this year. I do my job. I'm here. I do the hosting stuff. I'll throw my takes in here and there. but I'm here to help you guys because these guys, they're recluses, and when they speak socially, they needed someone to really get them out of their shell and get them. You should have seen our early podcast with these two guys. Key wouldn't even open his mouth half the time. Jav was still learning English. Now we're here. Key's got a personality. Jav speaks fluent English. And who do you have to thank for that? Uncle Pegasus. That's what I do.
Uncle Pegasus, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So
I had some conversations facing Pegasus in his room.
That's so funny. I saw it.
Yeah.
Bro, honestly, this is a really good fight. The only thing, Peg, I guess I'm going to ask you, because I asked myself the same thing. Are you worried about, Pereira being 40 years old at lightweight?
Not really, no. I think I'm not too worried about that right now. If you look at his last few performances, he hasn't really regressed all that bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Dawson fight is just a completely different matchup, right? So I kind of, he looked okay.
That's a wet blanket. That's a wet blanket. Dawson's going to – what happens if Dawson fights Hernandez? How does that go?
Yeah, I mean, Dawson, unless Hernandez knock him out early, that could happen.
Well, yes, that's very true. That could have also happened too. But no, if he does, he wet blankets him the same way.
So personally, my main concern about this matchup is the age, right? Because we have a guy, 32 years old, look like he's in his prime right now, Hernandez, right? 3-fight winning streak, momentum. We have CDF, 40 years old, had his injuries, stuff like that. So that's a concern on my side before backing him or, thinking about playing him. Because, if I look into the matchup stylistically and they're both 32 years old, I would cap Pereira at decent size favorite, right? But because of the age, I got to put something into my capping. And the thing I'll say though is like, when's the last time Diego Ferreira has been knocked out top of you guys' head, right? Like a real KO. When's the last time he's been KO? What you guys think?
I have no clue.
2018.
2018? Key, no guess? Like I'm not saying like ground and pound. I'm saying like KO on the feet because like again, Hernandez is not gonna ground and pounding or anything like that, right? It was Dustin Poirier in 2015 that he knocked him out, right? His finish losses after that, or one of them is Gregor Gillespie, right? It was a ground and pound finish.
Gamrot was ground and pound.
No, Gamrot was not ground and pound. Did you watch that fight? Pegasus, did you watch that fight?
I thought it was TKO, no?
No, it's listed, I think, as a TKO or submission to strike, but he injured himself. He broke something into that fight. He got injured. That's why they called the fight. But yeah, so basically the last time he's been like finished on the feet was in 2015, right? And, in the Michael Johnson fight, he was not looking too good. Honestly, Johnson was doing his thing, but Johnson really fast hands and, he was able to find a kill shot and put him out cold. That was impressive to me. And against the Rebetsky fight, it's just, to me, it's very impressive because at the end of the day, Allrabai couldn't finish Rebetsky in a war. Duncan couldn't finish Rebetsky in a war. Diego Ferreira put him, made him finish him late. That was impressive. He was only like, he was 39 back then. Now he's 40 years old and a half. So I don't think that, he changed a lot since then personally. And that performance was super impressive. The power that he has in his hands and the cardio that he has at his age is really something to be, impressed about. And also he got hurt early in that fight, right? He got hurt and he came back round 2 and 3 and put it on him. That was really impressive. So yeah, Hernandez, the fight against Kurt Olibar, right? He was kind of starting to lose the striking. Kurt was putting it on him, and he did rely on the wrestling because, Kurt doesn't have any hips. He doesn't have takedown defense. His get-up game is not great. So it was a close fight, but because of the wrestling, Hernandez was able to win. And against Austin Hubbard, I didn't like how, like, when he get hit, Hernandez, like his face it doesn't wear damage well. He start bleeding easily. His face turned red. Even against, Chase Hooper early on, I don't know, his face turned red again. And against Austin Hubbard, the fight is early on, his nose is bleeding. Austin Hubbard has no power, so I don't like to see that. And now, he's taking a quick turnaround after he only fought a month ago, coming back here. So it's kind of short notice. But yeah, the way I see it is I think that Hernandez is going to look better early on. He always looked good in round 1. But I think in round 2 and 3, you got to favor Pereira. He has, Hernandez has broken many times before, and now he's taking a step up in competition against a guy that can strike with him, that have power, and that can grapple. So I don't think he's going to be able to rely on the wrestling if he doesn't like the striking. If he try to wrestle and he's tired, I think he can end up in bad submission attempt. And on the feet, I think Pereira in round 2 and 3 going to look better, going to land big shots, and I don't think Hernandez will damage well. So again, his cardio has looked better as of late, but again, short notice, and I feel like it might be a war. And in a war, even though Pereira is 40 years old, I got to lean his way. He's proving me to win these type of fight, and Hernandez has shown me to quit in those type of fight or get broken, right? So you look at it, Hernandez has been finished multiple times in round 2 and 3. Pereira, he has a couple round 2 and 3 finishes, so that's something to note as well. And maybe Hernandez win round 1, but normally when you win round 1, he either, sometimes he lose or get finished late if he doesn't get a knockout in round 1. He doesn't finish people in round 2 and 3. So I don't think he's going to knock out Pereira in round 1 like he did against Hooper. Even Chase Hooper, who has no striking, no defense, it was late round 1, right? I think Pereira is going to be way more dangerous on the feet, and he's going to be more, I think his chin is better. So I don't think he's going to do it like Coria did. So I think capping Pereira as a slight favorite makes sense. But, there is red flag about the age, and stuff like that. But you look in great shape. And again, it's a quick turnaround for Hernandez, who has shown multiple time cardio issues and, not look good late round 2 and in round 3. And I think Pereira is going to put it on him late.
Key, what do you got here?
Yeah, this is weird. Of course, it was well televised that I was on the Hernandez train. Fuck Pegasus and fuck Chase Hooper. But I think that here
we give him so much shit for that one.
Yeah, he'll never forget about that one. This guy told us that was a value loser.
Alexander Hernandez.
Oh yeah, he was screaming. Yeah, you guys gonna stream? Oh, value loser, blah blah blah. We catch that shit easily.
Knock the fuck out in round 1. But I think that here it's tough to get to a bet at these odds. Currently, I believe we're in Pereira slight favorite range now. I believe that's what it. Yeah, minus 118 CDF right now. And that can make sense. This is just a weird fight to cap because Diego's matchups, whenever you put him in the light and give him Styles making the fights. I mean, Rebecca is that you're not going to get any way of that type of fight versus Hernandez, in my opinion. And the Michael Johnson fight, I mean, he was getting outclassed until he landed a big bomb. And then the Dawson fight, that is not anything what this fight will look like. So it's kind of hard. Hernandez is finally, it seems like, getting his footing. He's saying all the right things, talking about a lot of stuff on the Ariel Helwani show today. Career trajectory wise, you have a 32-year-old who seems to finally be filling into his MMA career and on a 3-fight win streak versus a damn near 41-year-old man who just got wet ragged at the beginning of this year. So I don't know. It's a coin flip fight. I think that these odds are correct or so. CDF, if he builds into this fight, I could see him winning a dog fight. But I also think that the movement of Hernandez could give CDF some problems and lead to Hernandez banking round 1. So that is just a tough dynamic to have, and I'm not really sure how this fight plays out. I'll pick and lean Hernandez off of youth and upside right now in career trajectory, but I think this is a really close fight and probably ends up being a cool little fight for UFC Noche. And this is main card, sadly, but at least we'll get some action.
All right, Pegasus KO Chase Hooper. Hooper wanted younger opponents that got KO'd. Yes, that's right. King of the spread. Well, I'll get that out shortly. It's crazy not to be worried about CDF at 40. Nah. Uncle Peg is on so many registrations in multiple countries. Haha, only jokes. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Do we count Gamrot as a KO? No. Injury, neither the ribs. Gillespie fight was a crazy fight. Dude, Gregor Gillespie, talk about a guy who just totally disappeared.
Yeah, crazy.
That's kind of crazy there. Probably comment about me being at it again. Hate it or love it, you watched, bro. You're here listening. Fight end split, good bet. line should
Maybe
look
if they go to distance, it's probably going to be close. I feel like.
Live bet's not a bad idea either because Hernandez, most of his equity is probably round one. Hernandez fought super close with old Jim Miller. Yeah, dogfight. I was on Jim Miller there. Well, at least Peg says Dawkins. Oh, if you weren't here for the Kyle Dawkins experience, I'm sure we'll be. I think we're back on November 15th. Kyle Dawkins is fighting. I can't remember. His fight got announced today. On the
By the way, Key Fatima Klein versus Angela Hill. MSG.
Ooh, I like that
Oh
match.
boy!
I like that.
All right, next fight: Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stolfus. Stolfus 16-7-0. Kelvin Gastelum 19-10. All right, we're looking at Kelvin. He is minus 230. Dustin Stolfus plus 200. Kelvin's 33. Stolfus 33, coming off a hard war against the Black Wolf, Nur Sultan. And then Joe Piper just beat Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, this has got to be a Gastelum spot here. If Kelvin Gastelum can't win this fight, I don't even know. Key, I'm going to have you go first here, man. I mean, this has got to be a Kelvin spot, right?
Yeah, I side with Kelvin here. I think that he's the better fighter, more experience. I have to imagine they win these boxing exchanges. And I don't think that he's washed. I think that Joe Piper just hits like a truck. Yeah. And he was buzzed after that round one, and that's just what it was. I think that Dustin's win conditions is like meme and just goof shit in the pocket, like just random chaos. And I have to imagine that Gastelum is able to be the sharper guy and find the shots. It's just been so long since we've seen like a clean Gastelum performance. Like even the Chris Curtis fight, D-Rod, I'm not counting that. You missed weight by damn near 10 pounds and then fought D-Rod. That doesn't move me at all. But the Chris Curtis fight, I mean, if without that headbutt and Curtis going down, I mean, that's a closer fight than people want to admit, even though Gastelum did look good in that fight. And we haven't really just seen him win cleanly in a while. So I think that Dustin, I think that he's a tricky grappler, but I don't think that he has enough substance to be holding down Gastelum for minutes at a time. But I think that this line is just right. I think that this line is about right. I think that Dustin is a guy that can create chaos too and can be in the pocket and do dumb shit. So it's a fight. They can bonk each other. But Kelvin has a good chin and has shown good recoverability throughout his career. I think that Dustin, like I said, his win conditions feel kind of meme-ish to me. I think that Kelvin's the side, but I just don't want to back Kelvin at minus 225 or minus 240 and at this stage of his career right now. But this seems like a here, Kelvin, get back right real quick type of fight. So Kelvin's the side. I think he gets it done by decision. Or if he gets it going and gets going early, I think the way he does justify this price tag is a late knockout. I think that that is the way that he looks like a wide favorite.
Yeah, I like Kelvin Gastelum here. Pace, volume, UFC Noche, Mexican fighter, huge step down in competition, it feels like. I don't know. I like Kelvin Gastelum here. Drop, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I got nothing to add. I did agree with Key. I think KG should win. It's a big step down in competition. He's the better striker, faster guy. I don't think Stolfus is going to have an easy time getting takedowns. And if he doesn't on the feet, he's just going to end up losing. That's a step up in competition for him as well. So I think KG should win, but it's hard to trust him at big chalk these days, especially at middleweight. But yeah, he should handle business.
All right, next fight we got is Jared Gordon versus Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia 17-4, Jared Gordon 21-7. Jared Gordon is minus 230, Rafa Garcia plus 200. I'll go first for this one. This is Rafa Garcia is spread of the week plus 3.5 for Rafa Garcia is plus 110. Reason that's going to be spread of the week is because first off, Jared Gordon fights on thin margins almost all the time. I think it was a split decision against Hasparat. Was a split decision. It was the Paddy Pimblett fight. He won and still lost. But like it's just always he always finds himself in a close fight. If we're gonna talk about grappling and wrestling, you gotta say, wrestling wise, straight wrestling, you give it to Garcia. Grappling, they're both pretty good. So I don't think there's going to be much grappling here. And now we're talking about on the feet. If we talk about on the feet, I think Jared Gordon's a smart striker, but I think the boxing of Rafa Garcia is also pretty good. So now I basically just broke all these things down, right? We talked about striking being about even, wrestling, slight edge Rafa, grappling, slight edge Gordon. Overall, close fight in Mexico, or not in Mexico, in San Antonio. Noche card. One fighter fights on thin margins. No one's getting finished here. Spread, plus odds, plus 3.5. No brainer. I think Rafa could probably win this fight outright as well. I get people like Jared Gordon. He's looked better later in his career than he did early, believe it or not, just because I think that's how he progressed. But yeah, I think this is Rafa Garcia pass for me. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I think Gordon gets it done, but I think that the spread is probably fine. I don't want much to do with this fight. It's kind of just mid, older guys making it out. This is really weak featured bout for the main card, honestly.
What do you think, Drop?
Have a question for you guys. When is the last time Gordon lost a decision in his career?
He's not undefeated, but Paddy Pimblett. What do you mean?
No, he didn't
He
lose
lost
that.
versus Nazareth.
No, he didn't lose that fight either.
No, you're talking about results or what you believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think he won that Nazareth fight and he won that Paddy fight.
Yeah, I can't agree with you on that.
All right, so he's 13-0. He never lost the decision. It's kind of crazy, bro. They robbed him twice.
But they're always close.
Yeah, no, the Paddy Pimblett fight, it was a clear win for him.
I agree.
Not really debatable.
100%.
And the Nazareth fight was close, but still. I remember I had Gordon by decision. He had Nazareth in there, and he's like, "Yeah, I got lucky that one." But yeah, I mean, Gordon has looked career best. He's 37. He has looked career best in his last couple fights. So I don't know. I know people like Rafa Garcia, but I can't get there personally. But I do like the spread though, Peg, because I don't think Gordon's gonna finish him, and I do think that Garcia's gonna compete a little bit, but I don't think he's gonna win. So I think he could win a round, though. But, yeah, it's just Rafa Garcia is not really good at anything, honestly. He's just decent at everything, right? And Gordon, you can see the same thing, but, I think his BJJ is better. I think he can decide where the fight takes place. I think his cardio is a bit better. Garcia, sometimes his cardio look bad. Sometimes it look good. Gordon has better volume. Even Garcia's last performance, I was not a fan of personally. And Gordon, his power has looked good recently. That was impressive to knock out Moises in round 1. I was not thinking about it. I played his KO 2-3. He put him out in round 1. I was like, all right, bro. So, yeah, I mean, he has looked really good lately. I think he should win this fight. I think the price is probably fine personally, but maybe a decision prop on Gordon. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to bet this fight, but, yeah, I think Gordon should win and probably by decision.
All right. Plus 2.5. Good luck.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's the way to play him personally.
Yeah, plus 110 too. I'm surprised it was plus odds. I don't know what they were thinking there. Dogfather's also on plus 200. Not bad. Nasrat, you're correct. I guess I lean lower than this, but it fights out up close. They always fight close. Santino wants a sub from Kelvin. The Steve Fultz guy to chin KG. I mean, I hope not, but
that will be crazy.
So that's what we're dealing with there. This is KG. If we lose, this is KG. If we shocked if he loses, yeah, Kelvin may get a finish late. What's happening, Gas Pack? Thanks for joining us.
What up, bro?
Let's see. Good analysis, Key. You are cooking. He always is, bro. He always is. Gas Pack, split decision incoming. Yeah, I think pretty high clip. Next fight, Rob Font versus David Martinez. David Martinez, 12-1, 27 years old. From Mexico. Rob Font, if you don't already know, 22-8, minus 225, 38 years old from Boston. Line on this fight, you get Rob Font minus 130, you get David Martinez plus 110. This is one of those fights that people are on both sides. You're seeing it all over. Drav, I'm going to have you go first here. Rob Font minus 130 or David Martinez plus 110?
It's a tricky fight, honestly. I know a lot of people love David Martinez this week. I mean, a big plus underdog, a big plus odds. I understand. The line came down a lot now. Personally, I think that the current price is fine. I have Font about 60% implied here, so minus 150. Still like minus 1. I think he's minus 130. So, if Font gets to like minus 120, minus 125, I think he's the side. It's just... it's hard to trust him because he's been hurt a lot. As of late, not really, but that's because people are trying to grapple him, and people he fought doesn't have crazy power. But the Chito Vera fight comes to mind, a guy that was kicking a lot, catching him with kicks, hurting him a bunch. Martinez, I think with his kicks, he's really good, and he could catch him with something. I don't think he's gonna knock out Rob Font though. We'll be really shocked if he's the first one to do it. Knock on wood, but he could catch him with a head kick, hurt him with something, right? That's possible. But I don't think it happened at like a high clip, And on the feet, it's just Martinez, the guy, karate background. He's gonna use the big cage. That's gonna help him. He's gonna use a lot of footwork. I think that his striking is pretty good. But watching back that Xavier Franklin fight, he was getting pressure, and Xavier's a midget, and he was landing a lot on the inside with his boxing. I didn't like that. That fight was a bit close. And Martinez, don't get me wrong, he's only 27. He's a Mexican. He's improving for sure. I do think he's solid and that has a high ceiling. But going from Simon Oliveira, who's a bum, to Rob Font, who's a clear top 10 guy, it's a massive step up in competition, right? I do think he's good. I think he's gonna win a lot of fights in the UFC, but is he like top 10 good right now? I don't really think so. And Rob Font, even though he's 38, I don't think he's washed. His boxing is good. Since his jab is really nice, his uppercut is nice. He's gonna pressure Martinez. He's gonna put him on the back foot, which is not gonna look good for the visual and the judges. And what I was about to say. Yeah, since Rob Font went to TriStar, I think 2 fights ago, he looked good, like good game plan. And when he loses or lose minutes, people are trying to grapple him, right? So yeah, I do think that he's not going to have to worry about grappling here. I think it's going to be a striking fight where Martinez is going to win the striking on the outside with his kicks. And I think Rob Font's going to pressure him, and then with the boxing in the inside, land that jab, and then some big shots. And I do think we're going to see a decision at a high clip, where I lean Font to edge it, but I think it's going to be like a 29-28 type fight. That's where I think if you bet Martinez like plus 150, plus 180, where he was a couple of days ago, I think it's a good bet, value on it. But I do think he ended up losing a close decision. I think it's too much too soon for the big step up in competition. They were also both supposed to be on that card, and Rob Font was supposed in training for a grappler in Raul versus Juniors, and Martinez was supposed to fight Quang Lee. So they just Carlos Vera at first, and then after that they're trying to match him up with Quang Lee, and then with Rob Font. So a lot of switch around, right? When that type of shit happens, you don't have maybe the right preparation. You're young, you're taking a step up. I'm gonna trust the guy that's been there, done that against the way bigger names. Rob Font's also bigger, taller, longer, so I think he should win. It's sketchy to trust him at chalk at 38 years old with his chin issues, but I do think he should win. I don't think Martinez is going to be the one to finish him.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. I'm actually on Rob Font minus 140. I think Rob Font, this year, 2025, has been the year of you almost have forgot. This is just another lesson of you almost have forgot. They're trying to give these young killers to Rob Font to beat Rob Font. David Martinez, like the way to beat Rob Font is you got to wrestle him, right? You can't stand on the feet. It's pretty hard to beat Rob Font on the feet, especially in boxing.
What about hurting him on the feet, though? He loses a lot like that. Like, he gets hurt. Even if
he gets hurt. Well, I was just about to say, David Martinez isn't necessarily – he can wrestle, but he's not going to. And he swings wild, and he's got to catch Rob Font. Because if he doesn't catch Rob Font's going to put it on him in boxing range. His foot's there to get kicked, but David Martinez doesn't really throw leg kicks too often. So there's no issue there. So Rob Font's going to be in striking range against a younger guy on short notice. Like, this is an easy Rob Font spot for me. Outside of a fluke KO from David Martinez, like, I don't see how Rob Font doesn't win this fight. I don't know, 29-28. It seems pretty straightforward to me. Maybe Martinez has a good first round. Rob Font digs in, makes his reads, finishes or wins round 2, round 3. I mean, Martinez wrestles, all that goes out the window because I think that's the path to beat Rob Font. But like I said, leg kick's not there. I don't really see this guy wrestling. He's going to slang and bang like he does. And I think Rob Font finds a decision here. Pretty straightforward for me. What do you think, Kate?
Yeah, I lean Rob Font. If you got David Martinez at big plus odds, you made a good bet. Coming up here, Rob, this will be a one. Hold on. No, this is still at 135. Okay, I didn't know if they were doing this at a catch weight. So this will be still at 135. I think the Fawn is fine still. I mean, yeah, he's gotten hurt and touched a little bit, but I mean, the jab is still there. The guy still has the motor to get going. It hasn't been. It's not like we're watching Calvin Cater decline or something. Like Font's still here and a real player in the division. I think this is a huge step up for Martinez, and I'm not sure he's handled the lights well. It seemed, but 3 rounds, UFC Noche, you fight a style that's energy intensive for sure. Rounds 2 and rounds 3, Font still big ass still walking you down with that jab. I have to imagine it's going to give you problems whenever you're trying to taekwondo kick your way out of the fucking pocket. So I think that Font has upside late. I think that Martinez has to hurt him within the first 7 minutes to really establish himself in this fight. Otherwise, I think that Font is walking through stuff and is fine moving. I think that it can be problematic late. So I think Martinez has to have some real big success early. And you could potentially look at a Font live bet if Martinez gets going super quickly. So this is a pass for me, but I'm excited for this fight.
Dan, thanks for joining us, bro. Appreciate it. Guys, smash us a like, give us a subscribe, stuff like that. 29-28 Font. Font might be a solid live bet. Bit late. Yeah, you're definitely here for the best part. We're about to go into the main event. Glenbot, could Font one of those times catch a leg kick and get a takedown? Yes, I think that's possible, but I don't know how likely that is. It feels like they're trying to take out 2 young guys with Font. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up younger fighters with guys who have names, but Rob Font ain't going nowhere. That's the thing. 2025 is the year of you almost forgot.
Yo, real quick, before we pull that Breaking Bad boxing guy's comment back up. Before
This
we
one?
Yeah, I saw his channel. I've didn't hear of him before, but I saw his channel like a couple weeks ago. I was doing some boxing research. And just want to say that's definitely a guy to go subscribe to and show some love to his content. He's really enthusiastic. He has great energy. It seems really knowledgeable about the sport. So shout out to him, bro.
Yo, give me Breaking Bad boxing. Is T-Bud at plus odds a good bet, or is it a clear Canelo because of like the size advantage or the power? I don't really know much about boxing, so let me know because I've been looking into that this week.
It's a banger fight, though. I'm excited for it.
Of course it is. It's a huge fight. Callum Ricci is also fighting on that card, so that would be good too. All right, guys, main event of the evening. Like, comment, and subscribe. Diego Lopes versus Gene Lord Silva. Gene Silva, 16-2. He's from Brazil. He's a fighting nerd, obviously. 28, 145, 5'7", 69-inch reach. Diego Lopes, Globos Gym, 30 years old, 5'11", 72.5-inch reach, or Globo Lobo. You know what I'm talking about. Fighting nerds, tough break last week. Here they are with the best fighting nerd fighting for the main event of Noche. Odds on these 2 gentlemen, you could get Gene Silva anywhere from -220 to -230. You get Diego Lopes anywhere from +180 to +200. I mean, when we're looking at this fight, myself, I'm on Gene Silva -210. I was there live watching Diego Lopes fight Volk. If Gene Silva hits Diego Lopes with the punches and the combos that Volk was, Diego Lopes is going to sleep. Lopes is hittable. That's what you can't be against Gene Silva. Gene Silva is going to come in with a good game plan. Diego Lopes isn't going to get a fluke sub. He's not going to get takedowns. He's going to have to fight his fight. Diego Lopes wants to try and push a pace. Gene Silva will hit him with counters. Gene Silva has to go forward. Gene Silva will batter him on the feet. Optics are never good. Lopes swells up a lot. His dumb haircut flaps back and forth, and every time he gets hit in the face with the jab, bad look for the judges. And honestly, this is a guy in Diego Lopes who just fought for his dream belt, lost debatably 4-1 to Volk, and now he's fighting the nightmare of the division in Gene Silva. This is a good Gene Silva spot for me. -210 is totally fine. I've never been a Lopes guy either, to be totally honest with you. I think him coming off the couch against Daniil, short notice, and not putting on a good performance against a guy literally 8 hours off the couch, like, I don't know. I think this guy's kind of gotten his way to the top. I don't really have the utmost respect for him in that standard. So I could be a little biased on my Gene Silva pick, but I'm also a huge Gene Silva fan. So yeah, Gene Silva minus 210, easy click for me. What do you think, Drav?
Yes. So first off, I'm hearing some things this week, right? People are saying the Fighting Nerds is done, Fighting Nerds this, Fighting Nerds that. One of the reasons they lost is because they went against the best coach in the business right now, and Nicola Hutt. And I told you guys last week, this coach is maybe as good or not better than these coaches over here. And his fighter is going to be really prepared, right? And he defeated the Fighting Nerds, 2-0 that night. So that was super impressive, obviously. But it's not because BSD beat Ruffy and that Imavov beat Borao, then the Fighting Nerds is sucked now, right? They're still elite fighters. It's just they depend on the matchup. And Gene Silva is an elite fighter. He has nasty power. His power is different. He knocked guys down, knocked guys out that's never been hurt or knocked down before, right? My guy, Charles Jourdain, what did he say about Gene Silva? He said, I've never been hit as hard as this guy in my entire life, right? So that's a tough guy. He put him out with that uppercut. Lopes, he's good. I don't think he's bad. His BJJ is good, but how is he going to get it there? I don't think his wrestling is very good. And Silva has really good takedown defense. Is very, very strong for the weight class. So now if we're talking about the fight big on the feet, which I think it will take place, my only concern, I'm going to say, it's Lopes, I think, can have success with calf kicks. We've seen him even against Volk. He had success. Against Ortega, you dropped him with a leg kick, right? He's really good with those leg kicks. And Silva, Bryce Mitchell was, doing his thing with those leg kicks. And maybe because he was not respecting Bryce Mitchell's striking, he didn't really care. Maybe that's why. And I feel like his camp is going to be aware of that issues, and they're going to try to fix it because that's something Lopes is going to go to. And Lopes is nasty with those uppercuts in the clinch, so he needs to be careful about that. But Silva's also nasty with those uppercuts. And at distance, like you said, I mean, Lopes is really hittable. And Volkanovski, I think we all bet Volkanovski there.
Yeah.
Volk hit him with some bombs. He hurt him early, by the way. He hurt him in round 1. I think he hurt him in round 2. And Lopes, he didn't get job, but he got buzzed. He got hurt. He got clipped bad with those hooks. If Silva lands those same shot, he's gonna go down. He's just gonna go down. Volk is a really elite striker, but he's never been a power guy. Silva, I'm telling you, his power is different. So if Lopes is still hittable like he used to be, which he's gonna be, he's not gonna change. Silva's gonna hurt him at some point. Now it's more of a fact: does he survive or does he get finished? I'm not too sure about. But Silva, to me, has elite durability. I think Lopes is also very durable, but I think that Silva hit harder. I think Silva is way more precise, the better striker. I think he's the stronger guy. And I think he's never went 5 rounds, so that's another concern. But I do think his cardio is elite. Personally, he builds into fight. Round 2 and 3 is always where he looked really good in. He makes his read early, and then he cook people. So I think 5 rounds is going to be good for his style. And as you said, when we see guys fighting for the belt and losing and coming back, sometimes it's not good for the first fight back, right? And I just think stylistically it's a bad matchup for Lopes just because he's so hittable and Silva's a sniper with nasty power. Those counters are just nasty, man. And those elbows that he throw, those knees in the mid, like in the clinch, man. I just think his timing and his power is different. He can fuck around sometimes, and that could be a problem if he doesn't get a finish. But I do think he should handle business here. I think that he's still really elite and he can be a champion. So, yeah, I'm not ready to say the fighting nerds are done. They're still elite fighters. It's just a matter of the matchup. And, I told you guys last week, BSD is going to show you guys levels against Ruffy, right? He did. But this one is different. This one, I think Gene Silva is for real. And I think Gene Silva is going to either hurt Lopes and finish him late, round 2, 3, 4, or win a decision. So I'm not sure how he does it, but I'm confident he's going to win the fight.
All right, Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm keeping it quick. I think Gene gets it done. cleaner guy, sets traps. Lopez, I think, will walk into something big. I can see a KO. I can see a ass whooping decision. I think Gene's too good, too slick, too educated of a striker. I think that Lopez, Volk fought that a great performance for a guy whose chin is obviously just not the same and cannot take a shot. So I think that Volk was able to step off and use angles. And I don't think that Volk or Silva strike similarly, but that pivoting and use of angles, I think, will lead to John being able to find a strike. Volk was tapping because you could tell he was aware of the fact that he didn't want to enter a pocket and get into extended exchanges with Lopez. But Silva can actually match. Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy that they all get talked about for their boxing, but the footwork is awful nonstop, and they can't cage cut to save their fucking life. But Silva will be able to pivot out. I think they'll be able to find angles. I think if it's just a pure firefight, he has the power to be able to match us in the pocket comfortably. So I think that Silva gets it done. I think that he's really intelligent of a fighter. So I think that he's probably the next champ, if I'm being honest. And I hope, dream scenario for me as a Volk fan, Volk defends against Lerone and then retires before he has to fight this fucker, because I think that Gene does bad things.
He's gonna put him out. He's gonna put him out. But I want to say Volk against Evloev as well. I think he wins that fight. It should like Evloev or Murphy. Like, he should win this and retire.
But please keep Gene away from Volk, please.
Yeah, please. There's gonna be Pereira.
And he's a crazy madman. This guy. He's a crazy madman. Like, I know people are watching him and be like, "Oh yeah, you look weird," blah blah blah. Like, that guy in his head, he's not normal.
Dude, I told you when I went to Miami and he does his barking thing, even the crowd was barking when he was walking out. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. There hasn't been energy like this in a while for a guy that you wouldn't really expect it all that much. So I don't know. He could be the real fighting nerd star right here.
I think he is. But Carlos Prates is still in the mix, I think.
Carlos Prates is my favorite fighter? Yes, he absolutely is.
Yeah, like he's still in the mix, Carlos Prates, I think. But even the other guys, it's not that, they're bad. We knew Rafi was not elite, but all the other guys, I think they're all elite.
I agree. Most people don't see the glaring defensive flaws. He hasn't lost in a while. It's wild. Volatile ropes and two Brazilians. Odds are too wide, in my opinion. No, I don't think so. One guy's way more hittable than the other is. Got me Diego plus 240. Over 10.5 is better than choosing a side. I think he's talking about boxing. Diego decision plus 500. Burned too many times. Diego meme power, so I passed. Nah, man, don't worry about it here. We ain't getting memed again. That's what I'm saying. Diego Lopez has always been kind of a meme. Fight goes isn't. Bud will not win. We got to. Oh yeah, Job. What about these guys? The old J Chuck brothers from the Fighting Nerds. Are they the best?
Oh, they're good. The best, I'm not sure, but we're gonna find out about McCall brother.
Yeah, I think Evlo versus Gene first, and then you do Volk versus Lerone. I agree. I like that matchup. All right, guys, that's the show. Job. You want to do the pot? You want to do a cycle parlay, right?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you guys a cycle parlay. Key will give you a leg, and Job, I don't know what to tell him. Key, which leg do you like?
Bro, eat a dick. That's the show, y'all. UFC Noche. Subscribe to Drives Odds Shopper. Peg can use Mike now. Old guy's he's losing his hearing. Fuck that guy. Peg, you can get everything for Peg in the BTL Discord. Drives Odds Shopper. He's killing it. My Dub Club, $20 a month. Drives Odds Shopper, $25 a month. Peg is the fake ass Robin Hood. Taking people's money and making them waste it on MMA bets. So don't listen to that guy, but sub to us. Make sure you hit that hit the like button for this video. Make sure you subscribe, show some love, and join the BTL Discord and our Twitter link.
Yes, sir. It'd be
that was a crazy promo. I love it.
Yeah, finally Key cuts a promo. We love to see it. All right, guys, check it out below. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Luna KO, Gurule decision, Suarez sub. Done by champ himself. Perfect. That's what we're going with. All right. That was the show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week for Perth, right?
No, Perth is in 2 weeks, isn't it? Yeah, we got a week break. We'll be back for Dana White Contender Series only.
What a treat. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. This guy said the same thing.
Fake fan, casual.
Okay.
He's happy about a week off. Key, you hear that?
No, I'm thrilled about a week off.
He's running from the grind.
All right, guys, enjoy it. Noche is going to be a fun card. We'll see you guys in 2. Oh no, we got Dana White Contender Series this week anyway.
Yeah, Dana White Contender Series next.
All right, I'll see you Sunday. Bye.
Goodbye. Good luck.